Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick.
And I'm Fred. Oh.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Nick.
And I'm Fred. And travel with us into the frightful frontier.
A show where we search for the best horror and sci-fi humans have to offer.
Today we have a book that we found via Creepcast, which is a big, we're big fans of.
Yeah.
I'd have to say.
I recently moved back to Wisconsin, and in doing so, reached out to some of my friends from when I was younger, and Fred and I were talking, and we somehow discovered that we both watched Creepcast religiously.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of snowballed from there. But we both heard about this story, Second Death by Peter Frost David. I'm pulling my phone up because I don't want to get it wrong. But it was in the Creepcast episode, If You're Armed at the Glenmont Metro, Please Shoot Me.
Wasn't there another one too?
So,
or were they both in that one?
They were both in that video.
Okay.
But the Glenmont Metro one was the first part of that video, I believe. And the two stories that are in that video were both just really great. And the hosts of Creepcast said something about how the author of those two stories had an actual book out there published called Second Death. So Fred picked it up, and I think you've got a little story there.
Yeah, this was actually the first book that I really kicked off reading and got me into reading. I didn't really read much as a kid. I didn't really care about it. And now, as an adult, I kind of consumed a ton of media already, and like movies and TV shows and everything, and I wanted something different. Creepcast came around. I liked that for a long time. And then I was just like, I kind of want more. And then I listened to that one, and they were like, oh, this guy wrote a couple books. He's got a couple books out there. And I really like that story that he wrote, like the Glenmont.
The Glenmont Metro.
Yeah, the Metro. I like that a lot. So I was like, I'll read this guy's book. And when I picked it up, it was only 100 pages. And that was enticing to me because I didn't read a lot. So I'm like, I'm not dedicating to read that. I'll read 300 pages or anything like that. It's just 100 pages. So I was like, I could do that. And it's big print too, which was also enticing to me because I was like, oh, well, 100 pages, big print. I can say I read a book, and now I'm like at 5 books for the year. So, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this book a lot. I like the story. I like the idea. I like the concept. And I think he did a really good job putting this book out there to the world. Yeah.
Once again, it's Second Death by Peter Frost David. My favorite part of this book was the setting, the world building. Like everything that was happening throughout, I just had this perfect vision of what was happening. And I thought the author did such a great job of setting that, setting that up. The general context for this story is this guy gets put onto a special ops team. He's part of the military, the U.S. military, and gets put onto a special ops team to essentially be sent into hell, to who knows what. That's kind of part of the figuring out of the story. And from there, you get the environment. You find out about this other part of hell that's nearby that they could get some resources from, because resources are so valuable because they're difficult to bring into hell. Would you believe it? So the setting up of all of that, I think right away when I started reading this, and the journey through the portal and into hell, it gripped me right away because it felt like a haunted house. Where it was like kind of you're going through this tunnel. You have to go into a cave to go through a portal that was just like, these lights are in the shape of a pentagram, and like that's glowing. Like it just felt like somebody going through a haunted house. And I don't know, it felt super cool to me, so I just kept reading. And then you get to the point where you're crossing the River Styx, and there's basically death is rowing the canoe across. And I thought again, once the world building was just, it was so cool. I had such a great visual in my mind the entire time.
Yeah, I would say it's a solid book. I like the whole concepts and everything. The only gripe I would really have is like I wish there was more. This one I like this a lot too because it reads like a creepypasta. So it's really easy to just pick it up and get into it.
Yeah.
And you're not reading a Stephen King book. You're not reading. Not that I know what that's like.
Whoa, cool guy over here.
Yeah, but you're not really. You don't need to know. These people's life story or anything like that or anything. You're just kind of in the story right away. And that was good for me as, somebody just picking a book up after, 10 years to just get into the story, get into the action and see what's going on with this weird world. And that's where he built that world and the environment and everything. Like you could really picture everything of it.
Yeah.
And I wish it was longer. Like I wish it was more book. Now that the thing that got me into the book was that it was so short, now I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
So that's really not even that big of a problem, honestly.
No, definitely not. And to piggyback off of that, the author did such a good job of not making it feel unknown. Like he did do a good job of just getting right into the action and going from where it was and or right into the story. I guess it wasn't right into action right away, but it was right into the story. And you didn't feel like you were missing out on anything. There wasn't so much rural, kind of like we talked about in a previous video. There weren't a bunch of rules that had to be set and expectations that had to be established. It was really just you're in it, things make sense, and you're just going with the story. It didn't feel like I didn't get to a certain point where something was happening. I was like, well, that doesn't make sense in this world or anything like that. It was very well done in that regard. But I totally agree that I just wish there was more. You get the start of the story where he journeys into hell and he crosses the River Styx and he starts to get some context of this military base that's set up there, and they find out about this other place that they could journey to get more resources. And then it's like boom, 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 done. And it was like I wanted there to be a bigger journey. I wanted more. Once I was like that tied in, I was like, yes, let's keep going. And then all of a sudden it just felt like it wrapped up so quickly that I was just like, oh, I wanted some more.
With that being said, Peter, we would be happy for you to write more books.
Yes, absolutely.
Continue
Please
on this story, continue on this journey. I think this character and this story and the atmosphere has a lot more to tell to it. And you kind of built it up in a way that it can continue on and keep going. And the whole concept of the second death, I won't get into that because it's a big part of the story. But I really like the concept of the second death and them trying to avoid that and all that stuff. It was
and
really
not just
cool
for themselves. It's like a community-wide effort to make sure everybody is avoiding second death for reasons that will make sense if you read the book. When you read the book. Go read it. Overall, I think given the desire for more and like the build up and the climax and just like the falling action afterwards, I think I'd give it probably about a 3.5.
Yeah, I was going to say 3, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I say a 3 with the asterisk that this will hold a special place for me because it was my first book I really picked up and got into reading again. So
I think that's fair.
That's what I say is like 3 with an asterisk.
Yeah. And I'll likely throw this reminder out, but like I rate fully off of vibes. Like how I feel reading the story. And throughout the book, it was just like I was in it. I thought that it was so cool and there was a lot of potential for some really cool things to happen. And like part of it, when they find out about that other area that has a certain resource, it's like the journey to that was so short that I was like, I wanted it to be, not exactly obviously, but I wanted it to be like Frodo's journey.
Yeah.
Where it was like all these challenges along the way, and I kind of thought that was where it was going, and then all of a sudden it was just like, nope, we're at this different place, and I was like, oh, there's such a cool opportunity there.
Yeah, they could have really played out, and you saw more of hell and like the world down there and how people would manage themselves and
it's also easy for us to say that sitting on a couch in a basement. Like we're not we're not writing stories like this. Like I definitely wouldn't be able to. So, take the critique with a grain of salt, but if anything, it's just it was so well done that I want more of it. Like that's the biggest critique. But the vibes overall while I was reading this were just, they were so cool. Really well done, really well told. But then it was just like that, boom, 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 done. That I was like, that, I think if that would have been expanded upon, this easily could have been a 4.5 plus rating for me. So
Definitely.
I think I'm going to amend it and I'll keep it at a 3.25.
Yeah, I'm at 3. But probably the 3.25 with that little
Yeah,
thing
we can
there.
average our ratings out. 3.25. Second Death. Check it out. Peter Frost David. The book. Did you order this on Amazon?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
so
off
that's
Amazon.
available on Amazon. I read it on Kindle Unlimited with my Kindle Unlimited subscription, and I read it in an afternoon. It was a quick read. Like Fred said, less than 100 pages, big text. So on my Kindle, it was weird because every time I would go to the next page, I would also go up 1%.
Yeah.
As far as like how
I like
how
that,
much,
yeah.
It was just like satisfying to feel like I was making that much progress on the book. So there's that funny juxtaposition of us liking it because it was short and we felt like
but we want
that drew in our attention, but we want more.
Yeah.
So go give it a read. Go watch that Creepcast video too of if you're armed at the Glenmont Metro, please shoot me. That one, the two stories in there were really unique. Funny enough, he has another take on a hell story in that one. But both of those stories in there are very good. This book was very good. And I'd love to dive in and see if we can find some more of Peter Frost David's work.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, that's it for this video. So like, comment, subscribe, find us on all social medias, and thank you for traveling to the Frightful Frontier with us.
We'll see you next time.